Hi everyone, welcome to the Coach's Corner. I'm your host Scott Wagner. On today's show we're going to have softball coach Bob Allen and then later Andrea Slusarchuk, star of the women's tennis team. We are here now with Coach Allen. His Lady Jackets are 26-12 overall, 11-5 in the WVSU. Always great to have you on, Coach.
Thank you.
You played three doubleheaders since the last time, starting with UC last Wednesday. We talked about going into that UC game, how big of a rivalry that is. What was the atmosphere like playing at UC in that doubleheader?
Well, it was great. As a matter of fact, I got a phone call from one of the officials this week, and she just told me that it was just great softball, and it was great to officiate the game, and it really was. Nice crowd, good sportsmanship. Both games were close, and it's good softball.
And there was a split. It was
Right.
It was one team won each game there in that doubleheader, and but there was very low scoring. It seems like it was a very tense battle out there between the two teams.
It was. We had one bad inning in the first game, and they beat us 3-0. In the second game, they hit a home run early, and then we came back and hit 2 home runs, and they came back and scored in the sixth, and we shot them down in the seventh. It was 3-2. So it was really 2 great ball games.
We've seen you play a lot of small ball, a lot of sacrifice bunts, a lot of sacrifices. 2 home runs accounted for all the runs in the victory, the first game against UC. That's got to be nice to get some timely home runs like that from Sturms and Osborne, I believe it was.
Yeah.
That gave you that 3-2 victory.
Well, we have in our lineup, we probably have 7 girls that have home run capability, and you just never know when it's going to hit. But Margaret had been in a little bit of a slump, and then she hit that 2-run homer, and it probably went 300 feet. And she's that type hitter. You just never know when she's going to explode.
Glenville State was the next doubleheader after that, and it was a very quality sweep. How'd you feel your team performed in those 2 games?
I thought we played real well. Sarah Pellegrin got in trouble the second game, and I think about the 4th or 5th inning. She's been having some nerve problems in her throwing arm, and as a matter of fact, we got her in a sling right now to try to get her back for the tournament. But we brought Jade in, and then Jade shut him down. So we played good ball. We had that one inning. They hit a 2-run home run, and I made a switch to change pitchers, and it seemed to work, and we got the sweep.
Yeah, and that was a very, very quick decision there. You could kind of sense that maybe Pellegrin was in a little bit of trouble. She pitched a couple very good innings, and then she gave up that home run and pulled her out there. And what goes into that decision when you're trying to make a pitching change, when a player has pitched a couple of good innings and then you kind of sense that they're getting in trouble?
Normally a pitcher, when they get in trouble, their stuff, it doesn't move like it did. Like Sarah has a curveball that will break probably 12 inches, okay? If she's starting to get tired or whatever, she loses that break, and maybe it's only breaking 6 inches, and they'll get the fat part of the plate, and that's when you get the home runs hit on you. So you can normally tell when they're dominating, they're getting a lot of fly balls and a lot of ground balls. When they start getting line drives hit off of them, it's time to start thinking about making a change, and we always have somebody warming up. I've got that luxury this year, or I normally do, when Sarah's healthy and Jade is there, and then we've got Marlena Fry, and Margaret Osborne has pitched some, and then, of course, Kelsey. So we've got more pitching this year than we've had in a while, and it's a lot easier to make that decision.
Well, in Game 1, you didn't need to make any decisions. Lorraine pitched a complete game shutout in Game 1 and then got a save in Game 2. She really pitched well that day, and it was just really impressive, especially the last couple of weeks. She has been absolutely outstanding.
Yeah. She struggled a little bit at Concord, but up to that point she did really well. And when she's rested, she's got a little cut on her finger, and when she throws her drop ball, it's breaking open. So we're trying to get it rested and healed so that when we go into these games we've got coming up, that she's not fighting that little cut on her finger.
And that's something now, Pellegrin and Lorraine, you talked about some minor injuries there that they're dealing with. How difficult is that to deal with as you get to this point in the season? and I know you got a couple of games coming up before the tournament. What will your strategy be to try to keep those players healthy going in?
Well, Pellegrin won't pitch probably until maybe next Monday. Kelsey's finger is better. If we can get 3 or 4 innings out of her tonight, we'll probably bring Jade in for, and we might throw either Marlena Fry or Margaret Osborne tonight some. Probably Kelsey and Jade can do most of it, but the other 2 pitchers can help out, and I just want to make sure that Kelsey's finger's healed before we start throwing her a lot more. So we're just going to have to wing it going through these next couple games.
Yeah, and it's 5 games in 5 days, but the last doubleheader was a split against Concord. In Game 1, it was a very close battle, 6-5. The winning run ended up walking in with the bases loaded. That was a tough loss for the team. How do you think they responded from that?
Well, they were disappointed. We were disappointed. We felt like we should have won both those games. But they did come back and win the second game. And I'll tell you, Concord is very deceiving. They're a lot better than their record. In my opinion, they're as good as anybody we've played this year. And somebody in the tournament had better watch out because they're going to slip up on them. And I hope we don't have to play them again because they're tough to beat.
Yeah, and Weinkoff threw a great game in Game 2. You mentioned that Pellegrin was out. She came in and she threw a complete game and it looked very good.
Yeah, she threw a great game against UC and she threw a really good game against Concord. And I hope that's an indication that she is starting to feel real comfortable. And when her drop ball and her changeup are working and she keeps them down, she's very difficult to hit. And Brittany Hyatt played an unbelievable game against Concord. I can't tell you how many ground balls she fielded and threw them out. She made some plays that should be on ESPN. I mean, they were just outstanding. And she's the real deal. This kid deserves to be an All-American. She really does.
Yeah, and we got to talk about Brittany Hyatt for sure when we come back after this break. We're going now to take a break here from the Coach's Corner. Sit tight. We'll be back with more from Coach Allen after these messages.